Hi everyone, it's Julie. I imagine you're wondering what on earth I'm doing here with this little yarn doll. Well, I'm teaching postnatal yoga. As it turns out, my children are way too big to do this with. I do have grandbabies and even great grandbabies, but for the purpose of the video, we're just going to use this rag doll, and I'm going to call her Sarah. So Sarah and I are going to show you how to do a postnatal practice. We're going to do this in a few different segments. I'm going to do a standing segment. We'll do a segment where you're on your back, and we'll do a segment where the baby is on the floor near the mat. So I want you to feel the connection. You and your baby, you both get to do this practice, and it's something you can definitely share with your baby. So having said that, I'm going to read our reminder to make sure that you are physically fit to do this. Here at Yoga's Ark, we want you to put your health first. Yoga is an activity that requires physical exertion. Please ensure you're in the proper health to do yoga, and if you're unsure or have an existing medical condition, please consult your doctor or physician before beginning a yoga regimen. A reminder, if you haven't done one of my classes, I do use my iPad to keep time. I don't wear a watch, so you may see me look at the iPad from time to time. So as we begin, you're going to just sit with your baby, and I've got a little wrap around Sarah here because we are going to do the standing sequence first. So if you've got a baby wrap, I'd say go ahead and get that ready, and then you and your baby can sit down. And at the beginning, just like we would in any class, we're going to close our eyes, let ourselves relax and come into this moment. We'll just take a couple of moments and breathe. Now, when you practice with a baby, of course, you may have to stop, and the baby may have some needs that need to be addressed, and that's perfect. We'll do that, but do notice that as you're calm and breathing, that can certainly help your baby to be calm and breathe also. And we'll take just a couple of moments at the beginning of this practice, allowing ourselves to rest, to breathe, and to feel the connection. And as we open our eyes while we're sitting here, let's just do a little bit of roll with the neck. So we can do chin to chest, ear to shoulder, head back, just nice and easy. I find this to be a very soothing movement. And then we'll go ahead and reverse, go the opposite direction. So of course, if you prefer, you can have your baby wrap so that he or she is facing you. I just thought you guys would want to see Sarah's face. And go ahead and let that head come right back to center. Let's take a moment and just do a little bit of work with the arms. So of course, when you have a baby, you spend a lot of time carrying your baby around in your arms. Arms can get a little tired. So we'll just do a little bit of shoulder motion, and really this is just kind of a fun thing to do. Bring that right hand out to the side. Imagine you've got tea on your hand, so you want a cup of tea, so you want to keep that palm flat. Turn your fingers backwards, bring it overhead, swim it around and under your arm. And let's do that again. Fingers back, overhead, swim it around, under the arm. Just one more this side. Back, up, around, and under. That's your full range of shoulder motion, just to kind of shrug that out a little bit. And then we bring the left hand, palm up, hand goes back, overhead, around, and under. And two more. Back, overhead, around, and under. And just one more. Back, over, around, and under. Letting those hands rest on the thighs. We're going to shrug the shoulders way up to the ears, and then imagine you're drawing a square with the shoulders. So I draw them back, down onto my body, and forward. And then I go up, back, and down. Let's just bring them up, back, and down. Once more. Up, back, and down. Can you go reverse? So they're down, so think of bringing them up and around. Ooh, like a big circle. There you go. Nice. Just let that tension go. Beautiful. And just one more pose here, and then we'll come to a standing. So let's take our right hand and place it on the floor. Left hand can stay here with the baby on the thigh, or even come up next to the ear. We walk that right hand out and open up the side body. Breathing here. This is also going to feel really good if you've got sore shoulders from carrying your baby around, or a sore back. Breathe into this. And as we come back to center, we reverse. So I've got that left hand down, right arm next to the ear or thigh, or holding your baby, and just open up. Breathe. Inhale, we come center. We find our way up to standing. So any way that's safe, can hold on to the baby, maybe bring those knees to the side, and just push yourself up. One foot and then the other. Let's come to the back of the mat. We're actually going to do a standing flow. So I have seen moms do this holding the baby. For me, I would recommend the wrap. You're going to see in the back, I really didn't wrap. I just tied this on. But I know that you all know how to wrap babies. That's a skill I no longer have. So we can do arms up. We can also keep hands on the baby. We'll step our right foot forward, plant the left foot out at an angle, and then maybe from here we feel nice and stable. We let those arms come up to the sky. We'll be in our warrior one. As you exhale, hands to heart center, you can open those hips. Bring the arms nice and wide. This is warrior two. Let's find a reverse warrior. Right palm to the sky, left palm to left thigh. Up and over you go. And again, you can always be holding here. And then let's keep everything the same, but inhale that front knee to straight, reverse triangle. Big inhale, we come right back to center. Let's go ahead and turn. So I've got my toes out, my heels are in, and I'm going to sink down. Find a little bit of goddess pose here. Again, perhaps you want to let those arms come out. Perhaps hands stay at the center. Breathing here. And when we're ready, knees straighten, walk those feet together. And we'll do the opposite side. You can do it from the same side of the mat. I'm turning so you can see me. So this time we step forward with the left foot, plant the right foot out at an angle. And once we know we're nice and stable, perhaps we bring those arms up. This is warrior one. Exhale, hands to heart center, open. You can find your warrior two. If you have to adjust your feet, you do that. Let's bring that left palm to the sky, right palm to right thigh. Up and over you go, reverse warrior. And then everything the same, we straighten. And then we come back to standing. Let's go ahead once again. We turn toes out, heels in. Find your goddess pose. Hands can stay here. You can do saguaro cactus arms. You can even bring those hands overhead. Play with it, have fun. Inhale, we come to straight. Bring those hands down. Carefully, you're going to heel toe those feet in. So your movement's definitely going to be a little different because there's two of you doing yoga. Not like when you're pregnant, but you still are working with two people. So definitely moving a little slower. Let's go ahead, planting through the feet. You notice my feet are hip width apart, and I'm grounding through all four corners of the feet, insides and outsides. Here, I'm going to either reach up with both hands, or I can reach up with my right. So I'm reaching with one, it looks like this. With two, I would take my left hand to my right wrist. Once again, opening up, finding that side bend. And if you had to hold both hands on your baby, you could do it like this. It's a lot of variations. Inhale, we come back to center. Let's find the second side. So variation one, both arms. Variation two, could be one arm. That feels pretty good. Variation three, we're giving the baby a sweet little hug and just opening up. And then coming back to center. Let's take one little back bend while we're standing. I'll turn sideways just so you can see what I'm doing. So I am going to hold on to the baby here, and I want you to think of pressing that pelvis forward and then lifting the heart. So I'm lifting the heart. This is lifting the chin. This is lifting the heart. Holding on to the baby. Just finding a little back bend here. Breathing easily. Grounding through all four corners of the feet. And then as I'm ready, I come right back up to standing. You're fine exactly where you are. I'm just turning so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to ground through my left foot, and I'm finding a balance pose. So you do have your baby here. If balance is not something that feels really stable, walk over to a wall. Put your hand on a wall. If you're stable in the middle of the room, you can do it here. And you can also, I'm grounded through the left, I can bring the toes onto the floor. And I can just find my balance here. Everything in my body is drawing in. It's helping me to hold this pose. If I feel really stable here, I could bring my foot to the inside of that standing leg. Breathing here. Now if you're feeling daredevil-y, you could take your arms up, but I think I'm just going to hold on to Sarah here. And then I'm going to let that go. Same thing, second side. Ground through the right foot. Choose my position, toes on the ground. Maybe that foot comes to the inside of the leg. Breathing here. I'm feeling a little more daredevil. I'm going to at least bring one arm up. There we go. Breathe into this. And then hands down, foot down. Bring those feet more than hip width apart. And we're doing something I call dragon tails, but we're keeping the arms in. We're just gently swaying from side to side. Baby should like this. This should feel pretty good. And there we go. Let's walk ourselves to the back of the mat if we're not already there. And we'll step forward this time with our right foot. I'm going to keep my left heel lifted. So I'll step and lift, and I'm in crescent pose. And again, if you're feeling pretty stable, and it's okay for you to do so, you can lift your arms here. Breathe into this. And then check in and notice if it feels okay. You could always bring hands back to the baby to do this, but you can lower that knee and lift. And lower and lift. Let's try two more. Lower, lift, lower, and lift. Hands to the heart. Plant that back foot. Beautiful warrior two. Inhale that front knee to straight. We're going to find triangle, but you're not going to take a big triangle because you've got your baby here. So hold your baby. The arm that's outstretched is going to stay outstretched. Just tilt your hips. Just think of this motion of triangle. I can still bring that arm up, but I'm not doing a big, deep pose because I want this baby to stay with me, not to go tumbling out here. And then bend the front knee, press up to standing, heel toe those feet together. You can find the back of the mat or wherever you are, you can do it right from there. Same sequence, second side. This time I step my left foot forward. I'm going to raise that right heel. I check in. Maybe I bring my arms up. And then I'm just going to float. So I'm going to bend and sink down, straighten and lift. It's a pretty small movement. And if you wanted, you could do this with one arm on the baby. You could do both arms on the baby. There you go. If hands are up, we exhale to heart center, plant the foot, beautiful warrior two. Big inhale, front knee to straight. Remember, we're going to hold the baby towards the direction we're going. Tilt the hips. Maybe the arm goes to the sky. It doesn't have to. It can stay on the hip. And we just breathe here. Big push. We come back to standing. And let's carefully bring those feet together. So we're going to come down to the mat. When we come down to the mat, we're going to go ahead and take the baby off. We won't be in the wrap. So if you've got, if it's a little baby, you just put that baby on a nice little cushion and keep him or her nearby. If it's a bigger baby, then maybe you need to have them in something that's going to keep them entertained for a little bit. The more mobile they are, the harder this gets. All right, so we'll come to sitting. And just like we did at the beginning, we're just going to take a moment. We'll rest and breathe. Notice how you feel. Notice how the body feels. Notice how the mind feels. Let your eyes softly close. How's your baby feeling? We know, moms know how the baby's doing. You know, before babies can really talk, they cry, and moms know, oh, they're hungry, they're wet, they want to be picked up. So you really do know, how's the baby doing? Baby's probably pretty happy. He or she is spending time with you. Let's just take a moment or two, resting here in silence. So let's go ahead and get these babies unwrapped. And we're going to let the babies rest just at the top of the mat here. So maybe you've got a nice little bed or a nice little cushion. We're going to pretend this is a baby bed. It's magic. It's a shawl, it's a wrap, it's a baby bed. There we go. So baby's right here. And I'm going to do some poses where I face the baby. I'm going to first start out on my hands and knees. I've got my knees under my hips, my hands, my shoulders, my elbows might be in a straight line, and In order for me to do that, you'll notice I turn my hands pretty far out. If that does not feel good on your body, you walk your hands forward just a little bit. And I'm gonna walk a little forward so I can look right at Sarah here. So as we inhale, belly drops, back of the head and the tailbone go high. And as we exhale, chin tucks, tailbone tucks, back rounds to the sky. So we're doing cat-cow here. Again, depending on how mobile your baby is, they will probably like this because you're looking right at them the whole time and you can play with them and talk to them. So they're still part of the practice. This is a knitted little doll and she makes me smile. So doing this with an actual baby would definitely be very smiling. And let's do this last one here. As we come back, bring those hands in front of the shoulders if they're not already there. Tuck your toes. This is my little cat-cow flow I like to do. So I'm going to press back, stretching the back body. That's also going to feel really nice for the shoulders. Inhale, center, and then as I exhale, I can find a back bend. Still looking down at my baby here. Inhale, center. Exhale, back. Inhale and exhale. Just doing this a few times on your own. Should feel pretty good. Coming into that back bend. And this will be the last one as we come back. And then we come forward. Let's go ahead here. We can walk the knees so they're underneath the hips. We'll take a moment, we'll just sit back, hips to heels for just a moment. Just working on this nice little range of motion, nice tall spine. Maybe do a few more of those shoulder shrugs because those felt pretty good. So think of bringing the shoulders up and just think of actually, boom, letting them go. And we go up and let it out, and up and let it out. And then again, up, let that go. Nice. Let's take our hands, we're gonna come back into our all fours position and we're gonna work on the stretch for the forearms that helps carpal tunnel. So carpal tunnel can be exacerbated in pregnancy, and if you now are carrying a baby around and maybe you're back at work and working on the computer, this would be a nice little stretch. So we come back to all fours. Let's start with the right fingers. We'll turn them towards the knee. So you can see my fingers point directly towards my knee. I'll show you with my left hand, I could also bring them out to the side. They don't have to come all the way back. That's going to depend on your unique range of motion. Does not matter if they do or they do not come toward your knee. Looking for the stretch right here. This is also something you could do standing. You could put your hand against the wall and do this. I like to use my body weight, but your body weight could definitely come into play against the wall as well. As you're ready, you lift, place that palm back on the ground. Second side, we're going to turn those fingers around. Make sure you pay attention to your little one. So when you're doing this, you want to be able to get some time for yourself. But y'all know, once you're a mom, time for yourself is, in bits and bytes here. So if you're able to do a yoga practice, then you want to include your child. That just gives you more opportunity, right? If you include your child, you have more opportunity to actually spend time doing a little bit of work for you. And let's turn those hands back. Last thing we're going to do with baby in this position is down dog. So I've got my hands planted, I tuck my toes, and then I press my hips up and back. I've got bent knees, and if I want to, I could come forward and smile, and I could push back, and I could come forward, and we could laugh, and I push back. Last one, forward and back. Knees down. Let's go ahead and move our babies. So they're going to be in front of the mat now. So I'm still on my mat, baby's in the front. Let's see, can we see that here? Yes. And from here, I want us to come to standing on our knees. So I'm going to extend my right leg out to the side. Actually, this is my left. We'll extend left leg to start. And I'm going to bring my hands onto my hips. Big stretch for my inner thigh here. Perhaps, if this is comfortable, I'm going to bring my hands down. So I could bring my hands down on either side of the baby. And again, this is your opportunity. You get to smile at the baby. You get to play with the baby a little bit. Breathe here. It's a nice stretch for this. You can even bring elbows all the way down, as long as you're in a position that you could do that. And breathing. I think Sarah likes this. Breathe here. And when you're ready, hands come down. We're going to come up, bring that knee in. Second side, let's extend. This time it's our left leg. And I'm going to start with my hands down. So we're always checking in. It may be that the first time hands down was fine, or elbows down was fine. This time we want to do hands. Always give yourself permission for it to look different on each side. Take a moment here and breathe. And if you want to, maybe those elbows come down. Breathe here. Have fun. You're definitely going to laugh when you come face to face with your baby like this during a practice. You will laugh. And the more mobile your baby is, the more likely they are to decide they've had it and move on. We'll go ahead and come right back up. I'd like to do a forward fold. So tucking into the toes, you can just press yourself back and come to standing. So there's definitely less flow here when we're working with the baby. We kind of move as we can. We'll separate our feet. Think of the heart pulling you forward. Baby's still right here in front of me. And I just come down. And again, I can place my hands on either side of the baby. If I want, I could turn my fingers so they point away from my toes. A little more of that stretch. If you've got a mobile kid, they're going to grasp your hair. And then as we're ready, hands go back, and we're going to rock side to side. So I'm going to bend my right knee and bend my left. Just nice little range of motion here. Back and forth. And then as we come back, let's do one pretty deep stretch. So I'm going to bend into the right knee and let my left toes go up to the ground or up to the sky. This is Skandasana. I've also heard it called Funky Monkey. Some of you are going to be able to balance here, bringing one or both hands to heart center. Some of you, your heel will come down to the floor. I'm going to just hold right here today. Breathe into this. And then we'll find the second side as we walk ourselves over. This time I bend my left knee, my right toes go up to the sky. Breathing here. And right back to center. Walk yourselves in. Can heel toes feel a little closer. Bend the knees, nice flat back. Find your way up to standing. Bring those feet together. The other exercises I want to show you are all about working on your core. So for this part of the practice, maybe the baby, if you've got a younger baby, they're going to be fine just resting here. But maybe your baby's going to go with your partner, or someone's going to come over and help you with the baby. These really, because you're on your back and you're working your core, are going to be a little harder for the baby to participate in. So let's go ahead and get comfortable, and I'm going to move Sarah just right over here. So she's out of the way, she's sleeping, she's doing great. And we'll come to rest on our backs. So we've got knees bent, feet planted. I'm going to let my arms rest by the sides of the body. Before we start, let's walk our feet as wide as the mat. Let your knees come in together and just take a moment. Close your eyes. Just find a few more breaths here. All right. Let's go ahead and heel toe the feet in. So now my feet are hip width apart. I'm going to bring my arms overhead and I'm holding them, they're shoulder width apart. I'm going to hold them like this. If I have a yoga block, you could actually hold a block in between your hands. And I'm just going to let those arms go overhead, nice and slow. Hugging in, I'm going to come back to center. And I'll do this a few times. Overhead, back to center. So we're working on core stability here. One thing about having a baby, you have to be patient in your return, whatever you perceive your return is going to be. So remember, pregnancy takes 9 months, and we have the wonderful social media, let's go ahead and let those hands go, that show people who have their pre-baby body back, 2 days later or something. So be patient with yourself. It's going to take a little bit of time. I'm going to show you exercises, and that one I just did, I'll sit up for just a minute, but you stay down. The one I just did is also one that is safe to do for diastasis recti. So diastasis recti is when your stomach muscles separate. And when you're laying on your back like that, you could actually feel it. If you bring your hands right in here, you'll feel a gap. Now, I don't feel a gap on me, my muscles are not separated, but it's a very apparent gap, and you can kind of stick your fingers in. You're used to finding that muscle, even if you've got a little bit of, I've got a little bit of adipose, a little bit of fat right there, but that muscle is still there. So if you have diastasis recti, your muscles have literally opened, and you can just press your fingers right in. It will heal. There are things that you want to do. You do not want to do crunches. So I'm going to show you exercises that are safe, and they're good for all of us. It doesn't matter if my muscles have separated or not. These are all good muscles to work, all good exercises. We are going to work the very deep muscles because that's how we want to repair. We want to repair deep. So if you're still on your back, you're perfect. If you came off your back, go ahead and come back. There they are. I wondered where those got off to. And from here, we'll let our heel, it's called the heel slide. So I'm going to slide my right heel out and slide it in. We just keep doing this. We slide out, we slide in. Let's do maybe like 6 of these. There's 3, there's 4, and there's 5, and there's 6. Second side, we slide out and we come in. Now, if you're thinking, gosh, this looks really easy, and before I had a baby, I was a weightlifter or someone who was really an elite athlete, you may know better exercises for your individual body. I'm trying to just share exercises that are going to be safe for anyone to do. And the core takes a while to come back. So now, let's go ahead and try it a little differently. So we can extend and scoop, and extend and scoop. So there's 3, in, 4, in. Let's do 2 more. And let that foot come down. Second side, here we go. Extend, scoop, extend, scoop. Do you feel it? I can actually feel it. Scoop. We've got 3 more. last one. Take a moment. Let's actually do some pelvic tilts before we continue. So in pelvic tilts, I'm thinking of my navel is noon, my pelvic floor is 6. So imagine if I bring 6 o'clock, the pelvic floor to the mat, and then I bring 12 o'clock. Let's go back and forth like that. Just back and forth. It's a subtle movement. And this is our 6th one. And then take a moment, just rest. All right, with control, this next one I definitely want you to do with control. So we're going to lift the right leg 90 degrees, touch the toe. Lift and touch, lift and touch, lift, touch, 2 more. Same thing, second side, here we go. We lift and touch, lift, touch, lift, touch, halfway, lift, touch, lift, touch, and lift, touch. Take just a moment, walk your feet wide, let those knees knock in. Take a couple deep breaths here. Let's actually do 3 deep breaths. So inhale through the nose, open the mouth and deep inhale, open the mouth. 1 more, inhale and exhale. Bring those feet back to hip width. This one, notice if you're able to do this. If you're not, you'll be able to eventually. So maybe repeat the one where we lifted 1 leg at a time, or repeat the pelvic tilt. But if you can, let's bring those knees up. So I've got them at a 90-degree angle, and I'm going to touch down 1 and up. Other side, 1 and up. 2, up, and 2, up. Keep going. 3, up, 4, or 3, 4, and 4, and 5, and 5. Last one, 6, and 6. And again, feet down, let the knees come in, take a breath or 2 here. Maybe take your arms out to the sides for just a moment, shake it out a little. All right, we're almost there. This is a lot of ab work. You can always do 1 or 2 of these. You don't have to do them all. We heel toe the feet in. Think of doing what I call a crunch. So in a crunch, I'm just lifting my chest. And when I lift my chest, I'm going to bring my hands to my thighs, press hands to thighs, press thighs to hands, and release. And let's do that again. Lift, press, release. Here we go. Lift, press, release. And 3 more. Lift, press, release. Lift, press, release. Last one. Lift, press, release. Last pose here. Arms to the sides, palms down. Feet are on the ground. As I inhale, I lift my pelvis up to the sky. This is bridge pose. And as I exhale, I round my back, everything down. Lift, I raise. Exhale, I lower. Lift, I raise. Exhale. exhale, lower. Arms to the sides, palms up. Walk your feet so that right foot's at the right side of the mat, left foot at the left side. Let your knees drop to the right, chin goes left, and hold here. Breathe into this. And when you're ready, inhale back to center. Knees left, chin right. A little stretch for the abs while we twist. And then we come back to center. So for our resting pose, if you'd like, it can be really nice to bring your baby back into the pose at this time. You could rest on your side. Maybe you're using your arm or a blanket as a pillow and you've got your baby right here with you. And as you come down, you can close your eyes. And again, the two of you get to spend a few moments together here, relaxing, finding your connection, resting, breathing here. I'm going to have you stay here for a few minutes. You will notice that when you come into Shavasana, the baby does feel that mood. They know it's a time to be calm, a time to be quiet. So just enjoy that. Take a moment, rest and relax. We'll breathe together in silence. As you're ready, you begin to gently move. Maybe fingers and toes wiggle. Maybe wrists and ankles rotate. Maybe you give your baby a little kiss as everybody starts to wake up here. And as you're ready, you find your way back to a seated position. You can hold your baby on your lap. If they're sleeping, maybe you want to leave them resting where they are. Thank you so much for coming out to play. This was a really fun one for me. I appreciate that you honored my baby here, my little Sarah. And I hope you find this useful. So remember, you could do the standing sequence, you could do the sequence with the baby down, you could do one or two of the poses. That was a lot of poses for the abs, for the core, but those are important after you have a baby, and they're safe even if you have diastasis recti. So thank you so much. Let us know how you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time. Namaste.